Hello, hello. Oh, I've missed you guys so much. Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Andover, Minnesota in the US. And I'm here to bring you another live paper crafting class. I'm so excited. This is one that actually has been requested of me. I'm I'm really addicted to kits, and so I love to take kits and expand them, double, sometimes even triple. I've tripled kits in the past. This one I'm doubling for you today. Basically, what that means is I'm taking a kit, an all-inclusive kit, which includes the stamps, the ink, adhesives, pre-cut and scored cardstock, embellishments, all that sort of thing, and taking this thing, just adding a little bit of cardstock and extra envelopes and turning 12 cards into 24. So it's really great for a beginning crafter, someone who needs quick and easy cards ready to go. Hopefully the tips and tricks that I give along the way will even help some of you more savvy crafters. People have been crafting for a long time. I hope that you all get something out of this, but this is definitely something that a beginner can do, someone who has never crafted before. So if you brought a friend, like I had suggested in some of my Facebook posts, hopefully your friend is watching with you because it's always fun. You can see the chats going on already. My friend is here. My friend Trisha is with us. She is my moderator. You'll see her name with a little extra symbol next to it. It looks like a wrench. It's a tool, basically, because she's the moderator. She's the one that gives us all our needed tools and answers questions for us. She's a blessing to me. So say hello to Trisha Josephs. She is going to be there in case you have any questions, in case you need directions for where to find something, that sort of thing. So make sure you say hello to her. And let's see. Oh, and she's giving great hints along the way too, like using the @ sign before you tag somebody. You can actually tag somebody in a post. It will make their name appear orange to them so that it stands out. What else do I want to tell you? So as we are going through this fun video today, know that you are live because it's 11 a.m. Central Time on, what day is it? March 31st. And if you are logged into your Google/YouTube account, you should be able to join in on the chat. If you're watching this afterwards, there is another comment section below the video so that you can go ahead and share your comments with me later on. And your name gets into a prize drawing if you comment, whether you're doing it while we're live or whether you do it afterwards. So on that note, I think we should dive in. I'm going to check to see if there's anything else that I need to mention here. I think that's it. So I'm going to bring up the comments from last time. I'm going to pull my screen up here and we'll get you all set up. There we go. So these are the comments that were some of the comments that were shared during the live last time. Now with comments during the live, I can't actually go in afterwards and respond. And I'm so into demonstrating while I'm in the moment that I don't have a chance to look and stamp and look and stamp and look. So that's why Trisha's with me. But I always feel bad that I don't acknowledge your comments, but this is one way I can do that. So I screenshot a few of them every time, just a few. And I try to, get some names in there that we may not have seen before, but welcome to all of you who were new last week. Thank you for letting us know that you were new and telling us where you were from. That's always fun to see. You'll notice that I also screenshotted several names that were photos. I love seeing your photos. And not to say that you all have to go into your Google account and add a photo, but I feel like I get to know you more when I see who you are. So thank you, Leilani and Gina and Susan and Eva, or Ava, I'm not sure how to pronounce name, Joanne, all of you who have your photos within your Google accounts. It's really fun to see your faces. So, what else? Oh, up in the upper right, congratulations to Teresa. Looking at your profile picture, though, I would never guess you're a great-grandmother, but congratulations on your 6th great-grandchild. And thank you to those of you that love my card. Thanks, Mary. A couple of you had questions about my PDFs. So I take and show you the measurements and supply list I'll do that in just a minute, but I do that for my videos, my live videos. And in the past, the first few lives, I was just doing that for myself to help guide me. And I'd say, take a screenshot, that way you can remember, or go back and watch later on and take a screenshot then. Some of you don't know how to screenshot. That's totally fine. So what I decided to do was in further lives, the post, my videos are always connected to a blog post. And what you can do is you can go into that blog post. It's the blog post is already written in the video description. So when that blog post goes live at 12:15 p.m. Central Time, just in an hour and 15 minutes or so, then you should be able to go in there and click on Get PDF. The PDF is the same thing that I'm sharing on my screen. It's just the measurements and supply list. The supplies are clickable, so you should be able to find them in the online store if you just click on them. But that's basically it. It's not an elaborate PDF. It doesn't have directions on it. The reason why I do videos is because some of my projects require too many directions, and it's just a lot to write out in a blog post or in a PDF. And I blog like 3 to 4 times a week. So when you see a video, I typically don't have a directional sheet with that video, just so you know. And the photo isn't in it either, but it's connected to the blog post. I hope that answers some of your questions. I know that many of you have asked before, not just Susan and Karen. And then, Susan and Linda. But Karen said, she mentioned this right at the end of the video, and I have to tell you that right when I stopped my video last time, I was like, what the heck? I forgot to share the other samples. So I have 2 more slide and lock cards that I'm going to share with you right after I answer this last one here. What did we say? Oh, we were talking about retired products. So I will talk about that next as well. So let's go to the desktop. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my picture a little bit further into the corner here. Hang on. I'm using a program called Switcher Studio, and I'm a one-man show. So sometimes, oops, wrong screen. I'm doing something on my end that you guys don't see. So a one-man show. Basically, I'm controlling all the buttons here too. So, okay, these were the cards that I forgot to share last time. I'll zoom in even further. This is one that I had created and blogged about just a couple days afterwards. It's using the flowering cactus medley, which is the next set of projects that will be featured in the All Stars tutorial that's going to be available tomorrow on April 1st. And so here's the lock portion of that card. So if you didn't see this card, you'll want to go back just within, I think it was a week ago. But anyways, I posted it just a few days after the last live. And so that is that slide and lock card. This is one that I did with my Stampers with Art team members back, oh gosh, was it a month ago now? Maybe 2 months ago. I don't know. If you're on my team, you can shout out the date. I can't remember. And then this one was made by a team member, Jenny Reeder. She did one with the fluttering, not the fluttering, Butterfly Brilliance, Butterfly Bijou. That's the paper. Butterfly Brilliance or Butterfly Bouquet stamp set. Not the stamp set, the dies. Anyway, she used the dies. And then this is from the stamp set that's in the Peony Garden, I believe. So this is her card. And oh, she didn't write anything on it. She's got a little note in there. But is this just gorgeous? I love it so much. So those were the samples I meant to share with you all last time. This is something I just want to point out, and then I'll tell you how to find it on my website. This is the last chance products list. Notice you're going to need a magnifying glass or magnifying lens or whatever to look at it. It's small. I think if you just download it, you can then expand it on your computer. And I'm sure that there's enlarged lists out there. I just didn't take the time to do it myself. But this you have access to on my website. I'll show you where that's at. What is last chance? Last chance is basically retiring products that are going to be going away. So we have the annual catalog and this smaller publication that we call the beginner brochure. And both of them, if you look on the backs of catalogs, they both have an ending date of June 3rd, 2021. So May 3rd. That's the starting date, June 3rd, 2020. May 3rd, 2021 is the retirement date of the catalog, which means we're going to have a replacement annual catalog. They are not going to have another beginner brochure, by the way. They're doing something a little different. But May 3rd, that is like just over a month, right? So that month prior to the end of a catalog, we have last chance products promotion. And sometimes there's things in here that are for sale. So you'll want to check out that list. So where do we find it? All right, let's change the screen here again. I'm going to move this out of the way because you guys don't need to see those comments again. And we're going to pull up. There it is. Okay, now we can get. All right, so this is my website, stampyourartout.com. I put the little graphic overlay up there before. You just go to stampyourartout.com, and when you're there, you're going to scroll down. You can scroll to my blog. You can click on one of the latest posts. This is where I posted, although this will disappear in just a couple days. But if you go to any latest post, let's just go to the first, the one that was done last. So we'll just go to this floating frame post, and I'll show you. I try to keep promotional information at the bottom of every post. So all you have to do is just scroll down, and right below my signature area, and right below the products list, if there is one, there's all the information that you would need on anything news, Stampin' Up! News related, okay? So, and there you can see the last chance stuff. It will tell you, click here for more information. That'll take you to that post where you can pull up the retiring products list. There's a PDF, there's an Excel file. Now, while we're here, I'm going to scroll down a little further. This is something that not every demonstrator has shared, but I'm one of those people that's a little, I don't know, I like details. And I would have gone into that retiring list, and I would have gone into the new catalog PDF, which demonstrators can see right now, and I would have figured this out on my own. It would have taken me a lot longer, but Stampin' Up! Decided to say, hey, you know what? We're only halfway through the January, let me grab it, the January through June mini catalog. We're only halfway through it. It started January, February, March, right? And then we have April, May, June. We still have through the end of June for this catalog, but they decided that they wanted to, you know, relieve us from stress. and they have shared with us what is going to be carried over, what's basically going to be retired is what we're going to see. What is going to retire from this publication. So you can certainly print that off. It's for your information, but just know that don't rush. Seriously, we're only halfway through the publication. There's plenty of time to get this stuff. Also, the last chance products from that publication, some of the items will go on sale in June. So if you rush now, then you're just, I don't know, just get the things that you want and need at this time. And then when the last chance products gets posted again later, that's a good time to, you know, look through it one more time and see if there's anything that you absolutely need to get. I mention that because this is what we're going to do today. And I'm sorry, the lighting is so crazy in this room today. I am so sorry about that. I don't know if it's the fact that it's more sunny out or what, but I don't know. I'm going to have to figure that out again. But we are going to play around with the all-inclusive kit called Hello Dear Friend. This is the way it comes. It comes in this box that you could re-gift if you want to. It actually has 2 more sets of these supplies in here, but I've already used 1 set to make my samples, and I've got another set pulled aside. Besides the consumables in here, you also get your ink pad, and this is in the Misty Moonlight color, but we're not going to be using Misty Moonlight. We're going to be using a different color. It's got your stamp set. It's got a block that you can use, a clear block that you can mount your stamps on. So if you are a totally beginning stamper, you have everything that you need right here. You even have little glue dots to act as adhesives, and you have these dimensionals. Now, because we're going to double the cards in the kit, you may need to invest in additional dimensionals, and we do sell them. We have those in the online store. Let's post that right there. Oops, wrong one. Oh, these got moved around. There we go. So if you need more products, you can always shop at my website. I also avoid using glue dots for my kits because they're putzier, they take longer. So I bring in a tape runner type of adhesive. You could also use like our mono multi-purpose liquid glue, but I'm going to use my steel adhesive. And then I'm also going to bring in glue dots that are a little bit stronger than these. I tend to double these up if I'm going to put on something like the copper cord. Okay, this is a tougher kind of ribbon, twine, whatever. So I'm going to use the stronger glue dots, but I would just recommend using 2 glue dots from the kit if you're going to be using that. So I'm going to pull these things aside. I'm going to close up this box and we'll just put it away because we've already got our pieces pulled out. Now your kit does come with directions. So you have these little steps here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're numbered here. It tells you how much cord to get for each of the cards that you're going to make. This card kit again makes 12 cards, so 3 of each of those styles of cards. We're going to make 24 cards, and they're all going to be a larger size card. So we're not even making miniature ones. We're going to make full size 5.5 by 4.25 inch size cards. Now in Europe, South Pacific, I'm not sure. I believe that this kit is the same there. So I think that your cardstock sizes are the same. If they're not, let me know. I would love to know. All right. So on that note, let us prepare some cardstock. So I said that you're going to need extra cardstock and you're going to need extra envelopes. 1 pack of basic white envelopes is 40 envelopes. You're only going to need 30. And why do I say 30? You're probably all going, what? 30? Well, you're going to need 8 times 3, which is 24. And then you're going to need 2 times 3, which is 6, for some additional inside layers for your cards, because we're using a dark card for our card bases for most of our cards. So we need to have extra white. And if you don't want to use your basic white cardstock, or you don't have anything besides the kit and the things that I'm sharing with you today, you can use envelopes. So I'll show you how to do that. So I'm going to set 2 of those aside. These, again, these 8 will be used for our cards. Now the kit comes with envelopes, but what we're going to do with those envelopes is we're going to use the designer paper parts of them. There's basically this lining that is inside all of those envelopes. So our 4 envelopes for our 4 cards, because I'm just going to demonstrate one set of these cards. So we're going to turn 4 into 8, and then you just take that and you multiply it by 3, okay? So we're going to use these for designer papers, so that's why we needed to bring in extra envelopes also. Okay, so how do we cut the cardstock? We're going to do it a couple different ways. 8.5 by 11 cardstock can be scored and then cut, or scored and then cut, okay, to make 2 card bases. So let's score in this direction. We're scoring halfway. Halfway is 5.5 inches. And again, forgive me for the lighting issues that we are having in our room. Maybe if I pull this up a little higher, I don't know, does that work? So here's our 5.5 inch mark right there. So I brought it to that mark. I scored with the light blade, lifted up, and you can see the score line going all the way through. So now we're going to rotate it this way, and we're going to cut. We're bringing it to the 4.25 inch mark, and we're going to slice our cardstock with the darker blade. We have 2 card bases. You don't need to have a bone folder, but it's a nice handy tool. It helps to crease cardstock. It helps to burnish adhesive, curl things. It's a nice tool to eventually have. So here's one card base that is 4.25 by 5.5. We'll do the same thing with this one. We'll set that aside. Now for this one, let's go the opposite way. Let's bring it to the 4.25 inch mark, but this time we're going to score first in this direction, and we're going to cut in this direction. This gives us the same size card base, but folding in a different direction. So it's still, when it's folded, it's still 4.25 inches by 5.5. So we'll quickly do that. So which direction do you actually fold when you crease your cardstock? So when you're creasing, you're putting an indent into your cardstock. This is what I would call the valley side of your cardstock. And the other side is the mountain side because you can feel a little ridge there. Okay, so the ridge or the mountain side is on the inside and the valley is on the outside. It just helps to, because of the fibers of the cardstock and how they go. That's just a little tip I have for you beginners. So we have 6 of our card bases ready. Okay, we have 2 other card bases ready from the kit. So we're not going to worry about cutting these because they're pretty much set and ready to go. We don't have to worry about them. Okay, so I'm just going to fold them, and now we have our 8 card bases. Let's bring in some other pieces that we need to cut. So we have the envelopes from the kit, we have those 2 extra envelopes, and we have these pieces here. This one, we're going to cut off a little bit here. We want this to stay 4.5 inches tall, but we want it to be 4.25 inches wide. So it's going to go the whole span across the front of one of those early espresso cardstock bases. This you can keep or set it aside in your garbage. So we're not going to fold it. It's a piece that we're going to leave like this. This one we're going to cut so that this is at the bottom, this is at the top. We're going to cut off some of this over here, but we're not going to cut to 4.25 inches. Again, this is 4.5, and then this is 5 inches tall. We're going to make it so that it fits centered into our card base. So if this is 5 inches tall, that means that there's a 1/2 inch, so 1/4 and 1/4 at the top and bottom, a 1/2 inch difference from our 5.5 inch tall card. So we want to make, that's what it is. So we want to make a 1/2 inch difference in the other direction to make it centered. So if our card is 4.25 by 5.5, we want to go in a 1/2 inch, which will take us to 3.75 inches. But I want to cut off this section, so I'm just going to flip it around, bring it to the 3.75 inch mark, and I'm going to slice. All right. I know I haven't shared the measurements with you guys yet. You're probably all saying, where are the measurements? I'm going to share that with you in just a minute because actually I forgot. Let's go ahead and cut these pieces. So your envelopes from outside the kit, the ones that aren't in the kit, we want to grab and trim off the sides. In fact, we're going to do that with all of our envelopes. We're trimming off the sides to get nice white paper. Okay, let's cut here. Let's just cut right inside that score line. If you cut right on a score line and your blade isn't super sharp, you can kind of fray everything. So make sure you have sharp blades in your trimmer. Also, if you're always cutting in one direction like I do, you can take your trimmer blade in your trimmer, make it come out like an airplane. Wait, hang on. There we go. You can angle it up when you get to a certain point. There's a hole there. So you angle it out and you make it fly away. Okay, that was real smooth, Rachel. Then you can turn it around and you can put it back in. You can angle it and get it back in. And then you're cutting on the opposite side of the blade. But I think this one's actually worn out on mine, so I'm going to keep it this way. Okay, so we've cut that. And now we want to cut to 4 inches wide. And then we're going to cut off just one end. I think I'm going to pick the end that's a little more frayed looking. And we're going to cut to 5.25 inches. So now we have an inside layer for one of our cards. We're going to do the same thing with this one. So we're going to trim off the 2 sides. And notice I'm cutting in this direction this way, because if you go into this edge here, it might not cut as smoothly. It's kind of angled weird. Trim this off right inside the score line, flip it around, trim it at 4 inches. Now we've got these nice big pieces of paper here too. You could use those for card layers if you want. I'm not going to, but I just wanted to point those out. These could also be used. I mean, it's still decent white paper. So especially if you're a beginner crafter, save those pieces. It's less to buy right from the get-go. Okay, let's cut that. So that's ready to go. Now we'll take this piece and we'll do the same thing. So we're cutting off the two edges of our envelope. And this time I'm not going to worry about how wide this is, but I just want to have a piece that goes inside my card. So I'm going to cut off at the score line, or right inside that score line, and then I'm going to cut this to 4¼ inches. You don't always have to have an inside piece of your card or a layer on your card that fits in as like a perfect middle. This is going to be just a layer on the inside that's a little squattier, and it'll go with that card pretty well, I think. Trim and trim. Now you see that other half of the envelope here? That's definitely something that I wouldn't use because it's got, you know, kind of a crease right in the middle. So that will set in the garbage pile. And again, 4¼ so it's going to span all the way across on the inside of the card. And then we have these two pieces, and these two are going to, I believe, I'm trying to think, I might have to cut these later. Oh, I know what it is. Yes. So we need a couple of these designer paper pieces for the fronts of our card. So we're going to carefully cut just inside this score line here. And I'm just lining it up with the channel of the trimmer. Oh, see? Do you see that? That's what happens when your blade isn't super sharp. So I'm going to move out just a little bit more. And maybe I have my blade going the wrong way. Hang on a minute. I knew that my blades were starting to get dull. So you can buy these refill blades if you want to. They're just in these little compartments like this. I'm going to take this whole guy out and I'm going to throw them away. But we're going to replace this blade today. There. So we'll just keep this one in here to use later. Okay, there. Now we shouldn't have that issue again. It happens. It happens. On a trimmer like this, the area that gets used up is the blades. On a rotary cutter, the area that can get used up is there's like a little mat that it presses against when it cuts, and that can get used up. This isn't really a mat. This is just a channel, and it gets kind of like debris in it once in a while, so you just have to clean it out. Okay, we're going to cut this to 4 inches wide. Oh, that's so much nicer. I love the sound of a new blade. There's actually a good sound. Okay, then we're going to cut right where these lines turn into white. So we're going to cut right there because we don't have a lot of room to get a 5¼ inch piece. There's maybe like 1/8 inch there. So you don't want to cut too far in. So there's one of our card front layers. Oh my gosh, you guys, a new blade just makes a world of difference. One thing you can do too is mark your blades. So you can, you know, if you're always cutting typically in one direction, take a Sharpie marker on them and write a note to yourself, you know, which side of the blade you're using so that you can do that flipping over trick. Okay, so we'll cut this to 4 inches. These pieces, again, you could use them if you want to. We won't be doing that on this set of cards. Trim off and then trim right to the 5¼ inch mark. There's our other layer. And then we're going to use these. So these pieces here are going to turn into layers. And I believe, you know what, I don't know how big they are yet, so I'm just going to set them aside and we'll cut them in a minute. Okay, let's bring in a couple card bases. Let's start with this one here. And we'll bring in one of our striped pieces of paper. So the first thing is to take your seal adhesive, and I'm going to show you this little step here too. It does open up if you want to pull it, but it's like it takes too long. It takes too long to do that. So when your seal is used up, you just open it up like this. You remove the old one and you put the new one in. And a lot of people think it has to be flipped this way, but you want to be able to read stamp and seal on the bottom. So if this is the bottom, because it's got the little gripper parts, then you place that this little notch into that hole, and then the other notch goes into the other hole, and it just sits right down in there. It's really easy to change out the adhesives in your seal. Then you just run it, and you want to run it lightly. You don't want to put a lot of pressure on these. And once you run it, all you have to do is just kind of kick it back to stop it. So there is card front. We're going to grab one of these. We're going to now use some stamps from the kit. So with stamping with clear stamps, you have the advantage to being able to see right through them. Oops, I'm going to put it under this way because I've made my paper stuck down to my table here. All right, so I've put my Stampin' Pierce mat underneath my scrap paper or grid paper, and that's going to give me a cushion when I stamp. And you guys are all clapping for me. I know you are. I forgot something. My ink. We need the early espresso ink. Oh, and I forgot to share the measurements and stuff, so let me pull that up. Gosh, Rachel, you're just so darn excited. Okay. There we go. There we go. So this is the Hello Dear Friend kit doubled. This is a printable piece of paper, something that you can print off when this blog post goes live at 12:15 p.m. Central Time. So just in another 45 minutes. You can see the measurements are for just 8 cards, which is what I'm demoing today. But you want to triple those measurements to get your 24 cards. So all of these pieces I have cut so far except for that one envelope. Basic white envelope. No, it wasn't the basic white. It was the larger one. The white portion. There it is. The all white portion is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. So now I know. And then these are the supplies that you need. Barely anything. We don't need one of those big machines to do any die cutting or embossing. This is really a great class for just someone who is starting out or wants quick cards. Back to the table. So I've mounted my stamp. All you do is you just stick your stamp on there. Okay? You open up your ink pad just like a compact. You slide it into its base and you press your stamp very lightly onto it. If you press hard, you're going to get ink all over your block, and that's not fun. We're going to stamp that into our sentiment piece here. And you just press firmly. If you rock, sometimes you can get ink where you don't want it also. So you just press firmly. We're going to pop this up with dimensionals. And I had dimensionals from the kit, but I think they're back in the box. So we'll just use these here. And I think we'll put 3 on that one. I'm putting them right through the middle because we're going to do some tucking. We're going to tuck some flowers into, there we go, now I can see. Checking out my video stuff up here that I can see that you guys can't see on my end. Anyways, we're going to tuck some flowers. So I didn't want to have my dimensionals right up to the edges for that reason. And we're still having lighting issues. Is that better? I don't know. I need somebody who can fix my lighting in my craft room. Reach out to me. You get a bunch of flower, little die cut pieces or punch out pieces here. So we're going to grab a couple of these and we're going to grab some leaves that you can also grab from another sheet in the kit. This one we're going to put flat down into our card. We're not going to put adhesive all the way to the end, again, because we want to be able to tuck. So we just have enough where we can kind of position that flower where we want it. This one we'll put up on dimensionals, but because it's going to overlap a little bit of the corner here, I want to, and I'm going to zoom in a bit here, I want to make sure that this dimensional won't kind of get in the way. So I'm going to actually put the dimensional right where I want my flower to be. Then I can peel off the backing and I can set it down like that. This here, I want up on dimensionals just on a couple of the leaves, and then this part I want tucked under this larger flower. So all I have to do is make sure I have dimensionals on these two leaf backs. You can cut your dimensionals in half by just taking a scissors and cutting right through the middle. And I would recommend doing that before you take release paper off, because otherwise you get a chance that your scissors are going to get stickier. So we'll pull the release paper off now. We'll tuck. We want to make sure we can still read the words. So we'll tuck and then we'll stick those two leaves down, and it's holding it right in place. So that's the first card. Easy, simple, but still real pretty. And there's a little hint of some metallic copper in there from the kit accent pieces, accent line around the sentiment pieces. The next card that we'll make is using another one folded the same way, but this time we're going to rotate it this way. So we'll put our, oops, helps to have it on a flat surface. Put our seal adhesive on here and center it and put it down in the front. We haven't done the inside. I know, I forgot. Oops, and I'm going off the table. There. Okay. So our next one that we're going to stamp is a larger sentiment piece. And that one will get stamped with the words that say just a little note. When you mount your stamps, I like to do this. I like to put my stamp on my table like this, so that if it's one that's real skinny, I'm not going to stretch or distort it. It's going to kind of relax the way it's supposed to be. I also mount my block onto it at an angle, and that helps so that I'm not relying on the edges of my block for where I'm going to position it. Tap it lightly, get the ink on there, use the words instead of the block to line up your stamp image. Press firmly. We'll do the same thing with this one, where we put on 3 dimensionals, and this time I'm going to do it more like a tripod positioning because it's a larger base. And that will go on. We're going to center this one towards the bottom like that. And this time the smaller flower is going to go on with seal adhesive. And we're just going to tuck that right down in here. This one's going to go on with dimensionals, and I think I can put a couple across there. I think I'm going to put one right here, and the other one is going to go, I'm going to put it right next to it, just so that they don't conflict with each other. So I'll just put a couple dimensionals right on the actual card, peel off the backing, if I can get it. And there is another leaf piece that I want to connect with that. So I'm just going to make sure I'm holding it there so I can make sure it fits in there. If I wanted it more like this, I'd probably want to stick it down already, but I don't need that to happen. So I'm just going to angle it so it's out of the way and I know it will fit. I'll stick my flower down. I'll bring this back out. And this time I can probably get a half dimensional on 3 of the leaves. So let's see here. We'll do one more. The edges. Do you guys use the edges? You'll want to use the edges of your dimensionals if you don't do that already, because that is just as good as the inside, as those inside pieces. So this will get tucked and then stuck down like that. So that is our second card. And again, we have to do the insides. Sorry. I'm trying to remember what, oh, I did the full envelope insides for that. We'll do those right now. Let's grab the full pieces that were 4 inches by 5 1/4. It's harder to put the seal on when I don't have an even table surface. Maybe I should stamp all of my sentiments first. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do that next. Because then we don't have to have this pierce mat under here. Can I just say that I wish the pierce mat was the full size of our grid paper? I just want to say that. If it was, I would probably not have, I probably wouldn't forget it. It would probably just always be there, but it's not a full size. So it kind of like gets in my way. Okay, those 2 cards are done. We'll bring this back in. We'll bring our stamps all in. We'll mount them And then we'll do all of our sentiment pieces all at once so that we can put this mat aside. I don't have this listed in the supplies, you guys. Sorry. Oops, do that one again. Okay, so here are the remaining sentiment pieces. Do you notice that there's a ton of them? This kit comes with extra, like a whole sheet of extra sentiment pieces, and I think that's if you screw up. So that's why I'm able to stamp all of them. And I'm spreading out my finished ones so I can cheat. Oh, shoot. Don't pay attention to anything behind the screen. Is that from Wizard of Oz? Okay, we're going to start with this one, the one that says, "Hello, dear friend," because we're going to do that masking technique where you take a Post-it note or tape and you're going to cover up the area that you don't want to get ink on. Some of you mentioned in, I think it was the last video, you would just use a marker. You can totally do that too, but I like to show the least amount of supplies that you need as possible so that, you know, anybody who's new into crafting, they don't have to own it all. But yes, that's a great idea. We're going to stamp this one into one of the small ones. So that one's just going to say, "Dear friend." Now we can ink up the whole thing and we'll stamp that onto this piece. This is our medium shorter piece. There's like 4 different sizes here. I think that's it for that one. And then we need another, just a little note, and we'll do that on this piece. And then, sorry about that. That's right next to the microphone. I hope I didn't make your ears hurt, you guys. This one's going to get stamped. The thank you is going to get stamped inside our smallest piece and inside this medium short piece. And then we need one more, and it's, nope, not that one. Oh, it's the wedding-ish one, the one that I haven't inked up yet. So you could make a wedding card from this kit, and I think that one of the pieces in this kit is so perfect for making a wedding card. So a day to remember. All right, now we've got all the stamping done. We can close up our ink pad and set that aside, and now we have a flat surface again. Yay. So let's make that wedding card. The wedding card, cleaning up my mess again. The wedding card is on this piece. So on the inside, we'll do that first. We're going to put one of these striped pieces, but we're going to put it so that the stripe is down. So we're using the white side. And you can put it up high, you can put it down low, it doesn't matter. And as long as it's cut so it's exactly 4 1/4 inches, you shouldn't have to worry about lining it up on your grid paper because you'll see the edges line up. So that's that. And then we need one of our vellum pieces. So these are the 3 vellum pieces that you get in the kit, and they've got this copper foiling on them. This one looks like a huge diamond from a ring. So we're going to place that onto our card base like this, and we're actually going to put the adhesive right at the bottom. Normally I don't apply adhesive directly to vellum because watch what happens. Ugh, right? It shows through. There's really not a good, I mean, you could like sponge on multi-purpose liquid glue, and they say that there's vellum adhesives out there, but I still see them. So I try to hide adhesive whenever I can when I'm using vellum. We're going to grab 2 of these guys for this, and we're going to grab our purple flower. So we need more flowers from this. We're going to grab our purple one. Our purple one is going to do the duty of covering that up. Let's first add our sentiment at the bottom with our dimensionals. And again, go right through the middle, not corner to corner, all that kind of stuff, because we want to tuck and it will balance just fine. We're going to place that right at the bottom like that, and then our flower is going to go up on dimensionals right behind it. So we'll put 2 to balance it out like that. And we'll just kind of stick it right behind and center it the best we can. Then we're going to take our leaves, and our leaves are going to get cut. So we are going to cut, we're actually going to cut off this petal, this leaf. It's not a petal. We're going to cut that off from this side, and we're going to set that piece aside for our next card. But now we have an extra leaf. Why do we need this and this? Because we're going to cut this one right here. And we're going to make a cluster of 3 leaves and a cluster of 3 leaves. This one will tuck underneath on this side, so we'll just put another half dimensional here. And I think I'm going to grab a glue dot, so I'm just going to pull out my glue dots and stick one, oops, press it down firm. Had to turn that, sorry. Had to angle it to get it to come off. It wasn't coming off. And then we're going to tuck it. So I've got the glue dot here and I've got a dimensional there. And we're just going to tuck it underneath like that. Okay, and then this one, we'll do the same thing. We're going to grab the glue dot, and that's going to help hold it under there. But then we're going to pop this one up with dimensionals. So stick on another half dimensional there. Was that the one? Yeah. So that'll go right. It's sticking on me. It's hard to tuck when it's sticking like that. And then this piece we'll just put flat down. I think I did that. Yeah. You could put it up. You know what? I'm going to put it on dimensionals. This one I'm putting on dimensionals. It's going to be different than the one that's photoed in my blog post. Sorry, I want it up a little higher. So that one's going to go right here. Okay, so that's another finished card. And the next one is also using, yes, it's also using this base that folds out this way. It's using this leaf. It's using the dear friend, and we have 2 more flowers to pull out here. So we'll grab those. We'll pop these up on dimensionals like that. And that's, oh, and then we need the vellum. We need the vellum. So here's the thing with this vellum piece. Right now, we do not know where to put the adhesive. So we're going to work on just this piece, and we're going to build up our card onto the vellum. Okay, the vellum will get transferred onto the card base, but before we do that, we're going to put all our pieces on it that we need to put on it. So we'll do our blue flower, and that's going to go right here. And then we'll do our pink flower, and this one's going to go on directly with flat adhesive or seal, like that. And then we need our leaves, and our leaves are going to get tucked in right behind. So you could either use glue dots or just add a little bit of seal there and tuck it like so. Okay, now we know where we can put our adhesive. We can flip this whole thing over and you can see right through where we can put adhesive, and you can do it either with, you know, seal or glue or whatever, but you just put it where it's going to not be seen, and we'll stick that down like this. This was the torn one. When I opened up my kit, I accidentally tore one of my vellum pieces. Don't tell anyone. All right, so that's done. Next card. It's going to be using this. And this one might be difficult in that we're now going to bring in the cord. This is our copper colored cord. The directions in your flyer thing say that you can use so many inches of it. I think 50 total, but I unraveled the whole roll of cord and I couldn't get that many out. So I think 37 was the most times 3. So whatever that is. 37 times 3. Somebody figure it out. We're going to cut 2 pieces to 7 inches. Cord, by the way, is a lot tougher than twine. So you're going to have some resistance when you do bows and that sort of thing. We need 2 pieces that are 7 inches. We'll set those 2 over here. And then we need another piece that is, quick everybody, what's 37 take away 14? 23. So there's 24, and we're just going to come back an inch, and there's our 23-inch piece that we need right now. So this is ready for my last 3 cards. I can put that back in my kit. This is going to get wrapped around, right around where that crease is on our card piece. And we're going to take the 2 ends, and we're going to tie it into a bow. So if you don't like tying ribbon into bow, you can just tie it into a knot. I am somebody who is stubborn and wants to make it work every time, so I'm going to attempt to do this. But see how it's kind of like it's got a mind of its own. It wants to go where it wants to go. So you have to kind of train it. You have to kind of twist it and turn it. Maybe it's not something I should attempt on live YouTube here. But it just does that. Cording is just tougher. It's tougher to deal with. You can use glue dots, which is what I'll probably use to help hold it down. And you can see that I'm also bending the card layer slightly so I can help kind of bring the bow back and forth where I want it to be. And I think that's going to work as long as I can put a glue dot under there. So I'm going to grab a glue dot and I'm going to put it on my scissors, or you could grab a take your pick tool or a piercer or something like that, and you just kind of roll it into a narrower space, and then you can smush it down, and that will help hold your cord. Ha! And you can trim the ends if you'd like. We're going to grab our Hello Dear Friend, and we're going to put dimensionals, which I lost again. We're going to put just 2 dimensionals here. The less dimensionals you put on a card, the better for mailing. Okay, so there's that. Now, I'm going to put another layer of dimensionals, and this is why I mentioned only put a couple there, because it's going to give you the illusion that there's only 1 layer of dimensionals on this whole card if we put the next 4 in these corners. The corners, when pressed down, or not the corners when pressed down, when put onto your card base, centered, you press this middle piece down, there's nothing behind this area, so this becomes flatter to the card, easier for mailing, less postage. On the inside of this piece, we're going to put our envelope pieces that we didn't cut yet. So for our envelope pieces, you're going to cut right through this section because it's not stuck down all the way. You can see there's like this gappage here, and that allows you to have a longer piece than what you think you're going to have. So if we cut it 4.5 inches now, it works. Let's trim off this little frayed end here. 4.5 by 3.25. We just made it. There's that one. Do the same thing here, where we're cutting into this paper a bit here. See that? But it comes right off because it's not stuck down. 4.5 by, and we'll cut this side first just to make sure. 3.25. There we go. So we need one of these for the inside layer. Come on, there we go. That's going to go here. And then our next card is going to use the last of the early espresso card bases. And this piece, this is going to get put straight down onto our card base. So that will go here, edge to edge, because it's 4¼ inches wide by 4½ inches tall. So we need that last vellum piece, and that's going to go here. And then we have another flower piece, and that's going to go here. So it's going to kind of cover up where that purple or that Highland Heather, I think this is Highland Heather in the kit, where that Highland Heather color kind of stops. It's going to kind of get covered up there. First, let's do what we did on the last card, the last vellum card, where we place our piece onto our vellum first. That's easiest. So that'll go centered like this. Then we can flip it over. We know where that image is, so we can come back here with some, we can get it started again, with some seal adhesive. And be careful, I think I got it in the wrong place. You won't notice. That's going to get stuck down here. You might, I don't know. Okay, so that's on there now. And then we just need our piece that has our words, the thank you words. And that'll get put right across the floral area like that. I think it's covering up my mistake. So there's our next card. You know, this kit really does not need any extra accessories like rhinestones or pearls or anything, because it's got that little fleck of metallic in it. So it looks just stunning by itself. The last two cards are the simplest. I saved those for last. We're going to put dimensionals on the back of these two. We're going to tie some bows with our cord. So just going to take and make two little rabbit ears and do an overhand knot. Or you can take, I think with this smaller piece it's going to be easier for me if I just do one loop, wrap that loose end around, tuck it through the hole, and tighten. And you don't want to tighten too hard, too fast, because again, cord has its own mind. It's a little bit tougher than some other ribbon, if you want to call it ribbon. It's the stubborn child of ribbon. I was a stubborn child. I think that's why God gifted me with one. There we go. We have a couple bows. If this is bugging you, you can take time to manipulate it if you want. Okay, so this piece, and this card is going to open this way, and we're going to fill in that empty spot down here with that. We're going to grab our nice tough glue dots. We're going to roll a glue dot in over onto itself and tuck it right underneath here. And that's where we're going to grab and place our bow. And you put the glue dot in the middle of a bow. So there's one. And then the other card is here. A sweet little thank you card. This kit has so many layers to it that it really, I mean, even the simplest card like this can look just stunning because of the pieces that came in the kit. And I put that so that it's right around, it looks like it's wrapped around the bouquet of flowers or the stem of flowers. So there we have our last card. And I'll just bring in this stack here because they're still nice and neat and organized. These are the cards. Let's just pull this out of the way so you can see them all. So if you are interested in getting this kit and the supplies that I use to demonstrate all this fun stuff, you can go to my website and you can click on the Shop Now button. Am I getting them all in there? I'm not. Let's go out a little bit more. where you can see the whole mess on my desk. If you are a demonstrator or you have a demonstrator, shop from yourself or from them, please. But thank you so much for watching, because I love having everybody and anybody come to my classes. It's just so much more fun. It's fun to see how you socially interact with each other on the live comments too. I love seeing the conversations that come up. I want to tell you a couple things. Right now, the Stampin' Up! Catalog for the new annual is live for demonstrators. So if you're a demonstrator, raise your hand. Those of us that are demonstrators already know what's going to be coming, and it's so fun. In fact, your complimentary copy of the catalog is shipping. If it hasn't gotten to your mailbox yet, it's shipping to you if you are a demonstrator. So watch for that. But just know that also, if you're a demonstrator, you're not supposed to actually share the link to the catalog yet. So if you are not a demonstrator and you want to get access to that, there's a couple things you can do. You can sign up to be a demonstrator, and you can immediately have access to all the fun stuff that we get to have. You can also contact your demonstrator. If you live next to them, you can go over to their house after they get their complimentary copy and, you know, just do it safely with masks or whatever and look through the one that gets in their hands soon. But yes, there's fun ways to get peeks at that stuff sooner than later. Also, if you're somebody that's getting the kit starting April 1st, starting tomorrow, you can add new pre-order products. We get to pre-order some stuff starting tomorrow. It's so fun being on the demonstrator side of things. But we get to pre-order some things, and new demonstrators, people who are getting the kit in April, can add pre-order items to their starter kit. So you'd also get to get things right away just through your starter kit if you wait till tomorrow. Okay, so all these little fun graphics. What did I put up there? Watch me on YouTube. Make sure that you come back next week. I'm going to go weekly again. Sorry about the delays that we've had. But yes, come back. Give me the thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. All that fun stuff. I have these other fun graphics up here because I am going to be doing some videos. I'm going to be publishing some videos soon on my YouTube channel having to do with Switcher Studio. Switcher Studio is the fun... here, I'll show you another overlay. These little overlay things that I have here. This is the stuff that I get to play around with when, let's try this one. Hang on. This is so much fun, you guys. Oh, that's not doing it. Let's do this one. There. Watch. See? It's fun. There's all kinds of fun things you can do with this program. So if you are a demonstrator and you're looking for ways to do different, is this the one I want? Oh, this is the fun one right here. Look at that. If you're looking for ways to spice up your lives or your videos in general, because you can do this pre-recorded too, Switcher Studio, I'm going to be teaching about Switcher Studio soon. You'll see a series of videos coming up. And the simple, easy one is coming like any day now. So if you're catching some videos that have nothing to do with stamping, just know that I've partnered with Switcher in order to share that fun stuff. We got to talk about prizes. Prizes, you guys, so much fun. Let me move these cards out of the way, and I'll get my prizes out here. Let's give Trisha a hand. She has been with us for over an hour. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Trisha, for sticking with us. Oh, that I left it on that. I left it on that one. That's okay. You can still see them. So these are the prizes. And we're going to pick 2 winners during this live. Trisha's going to do that for me real shortly. It's a pack of envelopes and a pack of dimensionals. Who can't use that stuff, right? And then we'll draw another winner for the comments that occur between now and my next live next Wednesday on April 7th. For our winner from last time, for the after live commenters, that person is going to get, and I'm going to go back to this because this just is more comfortable for me. That person is going to get the poppy, Peaceful Poppy Elements and the basic black satin ribbon. Those are retired products, by the way, but I had my hands on them. So I'm going to pull up my sheet that announces that winner. And move to that screen. Ta-da! Carrie! Carrie McAuliffe, you are the winner. You were one of the people that commented on my sliding lock Easter card after the live was over. And that was 2 weeks worth of comments. So you won out of 234 people. That rocks. That's pretty good. So let me go to my computer now and look to see who Trisha has drawn for our live winners. Who's our live winner? I'm looking at names. The timing. There's like this delay. There's a 25-second delay when I actually hit my live button on my end to when it goes live on YouTube. And then it's weird because sometimes it feels like it's delayed the other way. I don't know. I'm going to scroll. To see if she announced them yet. I do not see an announcement. So she's probably going to post them any minute now. I think that's all I wanted. Oh, there they are. Sue Wisna, you know, I say your name when I'm reading comments because you're with me a lot. Sue Wisniewski? Is that how you say it? And Dale Howard, congratulations. You two are the winners. Yay! So reach out to me. Trisha has put my email in the comments, but let's see if I can find that overlay. Is that it? Yeah. So reach out to me via email so that you can claim your prize. Yay, Cindy Howard. It's Cindy Howard, not Dale. She uses her husband's YouTube account. On that note, it's over. It's past the time. I'm going to let you all go. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you all sticking with me for this over an hour time. My team is supposed to be live right now with me, or I'm supposed to be live with my team 10 minutes ago. So I'm going to go. You guys take care. I will be back next week with a fun idea using the cactus medley, the flowering cactus medley. Good stuff. I'll see you later. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.